In this section, we'll be covering the seller dashboard. The dashboard itself is very important and vital to your success or failure on eBay itself. Now, this is something that you have to constantly monitor. And as you can see, I have not actually monitored mine. And then one day I take a look and I see my performance is below standard. And that's very, very bad. So I wasn't expecting this to actually happen. I have a lot of transaction going on and of course a lot of sales as well, and I didn't see this actually coming. So here's what actually happened here and what led to this to happen. First off, let me take a look and show you my profile itself. I had 1,233 different transactions and my profile itself is at 99.3% positive, which is pretty good. So if you take a look at this, the most recent ratings, I only had one negative review within 1 year. So you would think that I would not get to go below standard because I kept on getting 5-star reviews and they're all pretty good. Almost all of them are exactly 5 stars. So what actually happened here is very simple. I wasn't really keeping track of something that actually happened a few months ago. So let me show you what happened. There was a few cases that went against me. So a case is when something is not as described or somebody is not happy with the transaction itself. So when that happens, the big mistake that I didn't go in and I resolved the issue. I let either PayPal or eBay resolve the issue for me, which is bad. So if they resolve the issue for me, it actually counts against me, and I had only 3 of those cases within the past few months. So when this actually happened was that my transactions, which is 3 out of 150 transactions, which is almost nothing, it is less than 2% of my transactions that had a defect, which is 3 different bad transactions that went actually against me. Well, somebody was not happy with it, and although it was resolved positively, it still counted against me and it put me in a negative below standard range, which hopefully it's gonna go back up because I haven't had any more of those cases. Let me show you the few cases that I had the issue with. So I had 3 different cases where the item doesn't match the description in your listing. Now what usually happens is when I sell a particular product and I sell it, I make sure to test it that it's a good product and it doesn't have an issue. But sometimes you get people who buy something from you and they're still not happy. Either they want to get a partial refund, or they don't like, or they say the item itself is not working as it should, or they don't even know how to use the item itself. It actually happens. You have people who don't know what they're buying. So when you sell a certain amount of products, you will get people who will return their products and they're not happy with it. So my best solution and advice to prevent this from happening in the first place: if you sell an item, people are not happy with it, just refund them the money in partially or even in full, because it's going to keep your account in order. So just make sure to provide a superior customer service even to the people who are totally unhappy, and even if they're 100% wrong, because the customer is always right, and when it comes to eBay itself, they always are going to side with the customer no matter how wrong they actually are. So just make sure the client is always happy with the transaction itself, and always try to provide a superior customer service no matter how much they dislike the product itself or whatever issue they have with it, because the customer is always right, and you have to do our best to get every single client who buys something from you the best experience that they can have. Hello and welcome everyone. In this section we're gonna go and monitor your seller dashboard and how to prevent yourself from going below standard and getting in trouble with eBay itself. Now the seller dashboard is vital to your success on eBay because just feedbacks do not actually paint the whole picture. And even if you have 100% positive feedback, you can still go below standard and in fact get even kicked off eBay itself. Now to prevent that from happening to you, eBay has some safety grounds. Now to prevent that from happening to you, eBay does warn you. They give you an email and they send it out once you go below standard that it is time for you to try to improve your performance. And you can take a look at your stats in the seller dashboard to find out exactly what happened and why your account is being restricted. So this happened to me, and of course I wanted to go into this to show you what you can do to actually fix it and how to find out once something like this happens and to prevent it from happening in the first place. So first off, let me show you what happened here. Everything else was up to date, and the only issue that I actually had was the transaction defect rate, which was 3 transactions out of 162. Another thing I had is the late shipment rate, which was only 1 transaction, which is 0.67%, but that's not an issue because there was nothing against me on those two. The ones that did have an issue for me is the one that they show me right here. There was a special mark next to it. So those are the cases that closed without a seller resolution. So when that actually happens, when you have cases that are closed without a seller resolution, what happens is eBay makes the decision for you. And when it does, it always sides with the buyer themselves, which they actually did right here. So I went in below standard because 3 of my cases went below resolution. And I'll tell you exactly how it actually happened. What happened was that there was 3 different transactions where somebody bought something from me and they didn't like the item itself. Although it was exactly as described, they still wanted to get their money back. So I did offer them their money back, but I wanted to give them a partial refund, which usually works, but in those cases it didn't. What they didn't want to do, they didn't want to take the partial refund, and when they don't take the partial refund, the money itself goes straight into eBay, into dispute. Well, eBay then decides that it's time for you to refund them anyway and take the item back. When that actually happens, that counts against you because eBay has to make a decision. And when it actually did that, what actually happened was that it counted against me. Take a look at anything else here. Here's my rest of my stats here included. The return rate, they were fine with that as well. So let me take a look and show you the exact monthly breakdown of what actually happened here. So it says your account is below standard, and here's what happens when you go below standard. First off, they restrict your account. You can't sell as much things as you used to, so you go from maybe 100 to 50 or from 50 to 25. It all depends how much you were able to do it before. So it actually counts your the amount of items you can sell in half. Next thing that it actually does for you is they hold the money that you're actually getting. So instead of getting it right away, they're going to hold it for 3 weeks, which is a long time. Another thing that's going to happen is if you continue to do bad, they would just go about and probably take you off from eBay itself as a seller. So you definitely try to improve the best you can so this doesn't happen to you, and you want to get out from below standard as fast as you can as well. So what it says here, in the past 3 months I was doing pretty good. There was no issue with my account right here, so I have 2 more cycles to show improvement, and they'll probably go and put it above standard again. So if I do good. So let me show you what happened month to month, show you exactly what actually happened here. And if you look at the quantity, you can see that I had 1 issue for every month in May, June, and July. Now, I wasn't aware this was having and causing an issue with my account until 3 months later, where they actually went about and told me that now my account is having an issue and it is below standard. And now I have to go back and fix an issue. So that's what you should always monitor, because even 3 of those minor incidences that I had with over 160 transactions, I wasn't paying attention and didn't think that's going to go about and affect my account. But here's what really is happening here. When you look at percent of transactions, you can see that in May, 10% of my transactions went into the issue where the cases was closed without a seller resolution. In June it was 5%, and in July it was 6%. Now they average this in with the whole yearly chart, and then it comes down to around 2%, which becomes below standard for them. So you have to try your best, of course, now to get it above standard. So here is the few things I did to get my performance back to above standard, and which I'm doing right now. First off, I took off almost all the auctions that might actually cause trouble. second thing I actually did, I'm selling only high quality goods, and I am putting it at the lowest price possible so I don't get any more issues with anything that I'm selling. Another thing I'm actually doing, I'm actually selling a bunch of high quality goods at the cheapest amount of price, just to get a bunch of reviews and as many as I can to boost my feedback score as fast as I can in the next 3 months. So that's my method of getting above standard as fast as I can. Since I'm only limited to a certain amount of items I can list every single month, I'm making the best out of it. So now within this 3 months period, I should go back to above standard and have my account go to exactly where it was before this actually happened. Now, this could happen to you, and you can do the same exact steps as I told you, and you can go back above standard as well. But most importantly, don't let this happen to you in the first place. Keep in mind that customer service should always be number one, and if somebody buys something from you and they're not happy with it, make sure to give them a refund or the full purchase for the item that they actually paid for, and or take the item back. So that will keep those issues from happening in the first place. And always monitor your seller dashboard. It is vital to your success on eBay itself.